If you ever think that experience matters, then you need to listen to this. Hey guys, my name is Kevin Blair with Element Home Loans. You have found your way to Mortgage Sense with Kevin, a common sense approach to mortgages. And I've got a very special lady with me today, Annette Clark Nutt. How you doing, lady?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you what, and we both have been in business a long time here in Chattanooga, and you happen to be on another side of a deal that we're both working on right now. Uh, and I just had really our first face-to-face meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I'm telling you, I feel like I've known you forever. I mean, it is, we just had about a 10 or 15-minute conversation before we started the podcast. And I love, love, love that part of you, lady.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
let's do this. I told you why I do the podcast. I told you what my goal is. But first, tell us who Annette is. Who is Annette?
Well, first and foremost, I've been in this business for about 17 years, and talking about just you feel like you know me. I always try to treat my clients like they're my friends and family. I want them to feel like they can call me at any time during the transaction and after the transaction in years to come. So I just try to treat everybody like they're a part of my family and hope that they continue to be. But I am a mom to two adult children. They're both married, and I have 4 grandchildren. I'm married to my husband, Richard. We've been married for 5 years. We celebrated 5 years last week. And I attend Cross Family Church here in Saudi Daisy. And that's about it. I just, sell houses and be a grandmother most days. So,
What got you into real estate?
well, a friend of mine was a realtor that I had known for quite a while. And, I probably watched way too much HGTV and thought it was amazing. And let's just clarify that. I don't watch it anymore. I live enough of it. I do enough of it on my own. I don't have to watch it. But just thought it was interesting. I had a bad experience with an agent, me and my ex-husband did when we were younger. Just wanted to make sure I offered people a better service than what I was given. I love what I do. I feel like it's what I'm called to do. And I know that I'll be honest and take good care of my clients. So, I feel like I have a good service to offer them.
That's funny that you said there's 2 things I picked up there that I'm going to hit on both of them. It's amazing what a bad experience, we can take a bad experience and turn it into something good.
Absolutely.
And I will tell you, Sherry and I, and this has probably been, I'd only been in business maybe 4 or 5 years, and we were buying what we thought at that time was our dream home. Mm-hmm. And we were going through the process. I was the loan officer. At that time, we could do our own loans. So, and I was working for a company based out of Georgia. And so I'm putting the loan together. And we were going through the whole process. We're 2 or 3 days away from closing. The underwriter says, I need your Tennessee license. I said, okay. Well, I called the owner of our company. I said, hey, I need to get a copy of our Tennessee license. He said, what are you doing? You can't do loans in Tennessee. We're not licensed in Tennessee. I said, you got to be kidding me. This is my home. So, Annette, I had to go find a loan officer. Now, I still remember his name. Okay. I still remember his name. I had to go find a loan officer, gave him a 100% perfect file that was ready to go.
Ready to go.
We had to do a new appraisal because they couldn't transfer the appraisal. Never talked to him during the process. Didn't return the very first call, took the app, gave him everything. Never heard from him over a 2-week period. We were 2 weeks late on closing at that time, but this was before Dodd-Frank. I got the moving van bump. You know what the moving van bump is? Yeah. They hit us for an additional point, which at that time cost us like $3,500. And I was infuriated, and I made it a point at that time to be a true professional in this business.
Right.
Because whether people buy their first home or whether they're buying their 10th or 11th home, it's still a lot of pressure, and it's still very, very important to them. And
right.
To me, communication and teaching and treating people the way that you want to be treated, That's fantastic.
Well, and
To
I think
me,
we're all guilty of it. Sometimes we get into doing this day in and day out, and we forget that these buyers and these sellers sometimes have never done this before. That's why they're hiring us. That's why they're paying us to lead them and guide them. And so I always tell everybody there's no such thing as a dumb question. Don't ever feel like it. Call me with anything you may have a question about, because I want to earn my paycheck. I don't want to just be given a paycheck. I want to earn that paycheck. But we have to remember, whether they're buying $100,000 home or $1 million home, more than likely it's the largest purchase or sale they've ever made in their entire life, based upon where they're at in their life. And I think we get caught up and realize, and we forget that how significant that could be to these individuals. Yeah,
and they're both nervous going through that
absolutely.
process. It's funny because the very first thing we do when we're going through my initial consultation and talking to somebody to go through this process of finding out what's important to them, how much they want to spend, how much down payment, what their payments want to be comfortably, and I've got my questions that I ask. But then we start talking about, okay, we're going to pull your credit. And that is just a pucker effect for everybody. It's like going to the doctor, you're getting exposed and we see everything. And so we've got to walk a delicate line, whether it's a first time $100,000 or somebody said somebody buying $1 million, it's still very nerve wracking. And we've got to be able to talk to these people. We've got to be able to
Right.
walk them through that process. It's amazing because there's some great realtors out there. There's some great lenders
Absolutely.
out
Yeah.
there. Okay. And it doesn't, I opened the show talking about experience because you've been in it 17 years. I've been doing it 24 years. We've seen a lot and we've seen a lot of changes. In fact,
Yes.
the realtor business, the real estate business is going through a major
Huge
change,
transition right now. Huge transition.
kind of like what we did back in '08 and '09.
Mhm. Correct.
And what I've been telling my folks about that is, okay, we panicked in '08, '09. We thought our lives were over. We thought we were never going to be able to recoup and change. What I did during that time is I doubled down and I learned my craft even more,
Right.
and it worked out. This is Kevin. This is Mortgage Sense with Kevin. I can talk about anything I want to on my show. And I know you're not going to be offended for what I'm about to say. I still believe that God's in control.
Amen.
I still believe that no matter what happens, that as long as we do the right thing, we take care of people, we're still going to be fine.
Right.
The industry always finds a way to make things work because if we think about it, the housing industry is so strong in the overall economy. But it's a big bump. It is a
It
big
is.
bump.
It'll be a huge transition, but I do think, again, you talk about communication. I think it's going to open up more communication between the agents and between their buyers and between our sellers. To let them know the significance of offering that co-op and how it's going to make them competitive, and I think it's going to hold more agents accountable to doing their job.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't believe how often that I've dealt with agents on both sides where I feel like I'm pulling their weight and my weight. And clients deserve better than that. They deserve to know that they've got somebody with experience that's actually doing their job. That, people need to earn those paychecks. And I think they're going to have to spend more time showing their importance to their buyers. And I think as listing agents, I tend to be more on the listing side nowadays. Love my buyers, but whatever side of the fence I'm on, I think you need to make sure you're having good conversations as the significance of buyers agents in those co-ops. I think it'll all be fine. I think there'll just be a lot more disclosure along the line of as to what the expectations are.
That's it. So you used another word, and I want to bring this up because we have jobs and we have careers. All right, and I had been in business about 7 years, or been in the mortgage business for 7 years before it turned into what you called a true calling. There was something that happened in my career at that point that made me say, this is why I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So in the last 17 years, do you remember that point where all of a sudden it said, this is why I'm supposed to be doing this? Is there a time that you can look back at and say, you know what, God has me in the right place. This is what I'm exactly put here to do.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because when I first started selling real estate, it was back in, 2007 to, back in that era when the market was crashing, and was very successful out of the gate. And somebody said, well, what do you contribute your success to in this business? And I said, well, I've always looked at it. If the Lord wants me to sell houses, there's really not anything anybody can do about that. I'm going to sell houses. And there's been a lot of times over my 17 years that I've stopped and I've said, okay, Lord, if this is truly what you intend for me to do, then you're going to have, I have literally stepped in the altar and prayed for my clients for the things that they've been going through, because I carry that, and I know some people do, some people don't. There's a lot of great agents out there that have great faith, and we've talked about some of them earlier. But I know for me, I have prayed for my clients that the Lord, lead them and guide them where they're supposed to sell or not supposed to sell, or we have the right buyer or don't have the right, whatever it may be. So, without my faith, I don't think I have no career, and so there's been several times in my career that I've just kind of turned it over to him and said, okay, show me. And he has never, ever let me down. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful. I don't think I'd be where I am today without that.
It's funny because I can't imagine doing anything else. I mean, I
Right.
really can't.
I love people. I love helping people. And like I said earlier, I feel like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm sure over those 17 years I've let people down, but I can promise you I didn't intend to. My heart was not to. And if I've ever let anybody down, I am truly sorry for that. But my heart is always to do what's best for my clients and what I feel like is, going to be the best advantageous thing for them.
And you know what? People see that. People
Oh,
feel
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Of course they do. Of course they do. There's a term, and I know you've heard it. It's called commission breath. I learned a long time ago, when it becomes about the money, and what I like about our career is nobody's telling me what I'm worth. Okay.
Right.
If I want to work harder, if I want to work longer, if I want to build a bigger team, then I have the wherewithal to do that. But if it was about the money, people see that. People know, they know, they know, they know if all we're doing is chasing the dollar, because we got to be about half nuts to be in this business. Okay. People ask me how I got into it. And I said I lost a bet. Yeah, and I'm not a gambling man, but sometimes I feel like I lost a bet. But I can't imagine. I seriously can't imagine doing anything else. And now my second son gets to work with me every single day.
Right.
And man, I'm talking about. I've got a new fire. I'm not even thinking about retiring, but I told him he's been with me 3 years. I said, you got maybe 5 years. And he knows I'm not going anywhere, because as long as I can think and talk, I want to, because even 2 days ago, having a conversation with a young family to tell them that they were approved, and it just got real quiet. It's just real quiet. And I said, guys, are you okay? And she said, yes, sir, I am. And I said, well, did you hear what I said? You really can buy a home. And she says, he's standing here with tears in his eyes with a big smile on his face, because they didn't think they could. Now, see, I never grow tired of hearing that.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree 100%, because, we just never know. And that's what I said. Sometimes we get caught up in what we do and we forget how big of an effect or how big of a part we're playing in their lives. It's huge. It's a huge purchase, and it doesn't depend on, they're buying a multi-million-dollar house. I'm telling you, those $100,000, $200,000. Well, nowadays your average medium's $250,000, but those buyers, it's just as important, if not more important, to them. It's amazing. to be able to help them, to be able to see these young couples starting out, getting their first home. And, it's after 17 years, I'm selling clients' homes now that I sold their parents' home when they were little. That's how
Yep.
it's been around a minute, but it's
It
awesome.
has.
They'll call me up and say, well, you sold mom and dad a house when I was 8 years old. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
let's do this. But I
yep.
get to see them be adults and, getting married and starting families and all of that stuff. It's amazing. It's a blessing, absolute blessing.
Well, let's do this, lady. What is the best way for people to find you?
They can call me, on my cell phone number, text me. I have a Facebook page. It's Annette Clark Nutt out there too. And of course, there's always my website as well. But probably the easiest is just give me a call. I don't mind it at all.
You
If you
mind sharing your
prefer,
number here?
oh yeah, do you want
Yeah.
to put it up there? You want me to just give it to you?
Give it to us, and we'll put it up in your post production.
Yeah, it's 423-883-7183. So, feel free to text me, call me anytime. And even if they are not looking to buy or sell right now at the moment, and you have a real estate question that you need some help with, I'd be glad to help you any way I can. I have people that I've helped with just random things, estate things, and this and that over the years. So I don't mind to do that at all, So
You know what that is? That's being an asset to our community.
I like to think that's what Jesus wants me to do, is be a heart to, have a heart for people.
That's
So,
exactly. Well, guys, again, I'm Kevin Blair with Element Home Loans. Our website is kevinblairteam. Our office number is 423-488-7571. If you call it anytime during the day, we don't answer, it will actually roll over to my phone. If I don't answer, it rolls over to my loan partner, which is Josh. So we'll get you. The only time I don't answer my phone is Sunday mornings because Sherry takes it away from me at church because she knows I'll answer it. Guys, if you like this kind of information, hit like, hit subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, because we're here to provide you great information with positive, correct, accurate information from people that really do care about what we're doing. Miss Annette,
absolutely. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it.
thank you so very, very much. And I look forward to shaking your hand one day soon.
Sounds amazing. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.